This video shows you how to install an XL series cargo glide unit. This includes the CG1000XL and CG2200XL. Installation can be done in 13 easy steps. Before discussing these steps, it's important to understand what is needed to ensure the tailgate does not interfere with your cargo glide unit. Nowadays, many tailgates do not fold down parallel, level with the bed of the truck, but remain sticking up at an incline. This incline often interferes with sliding truck bed trays, or they may become a pinch hazard. So, Cargo Glide XL 100% extension units come standard with a taller mounting frame, giving 1.5 inches of extra clearance so that your unit never comes in contact with the tailgate. This saves you time and money, and it makes installation easier because you don't need to buy or install an optional spacer kit. But if you need a little more vertical clearance and either don't have a tailgate or can otherwise lower it, we also offer a low profile slide that has 1.5 inch lower deck height than the full height unit. For further fine tuning, the unit can be installed with no spacer, or a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, or a 2 inch spacer with the available kits. How do you know how much space is needed? Simple. Just use 2 straight edges. Lay the first, such as a level in the bed of your truck. Then lay the second one on top of the first one, extend it out to the end of the tailgate, and take 2 measurements. The first vertically from the straight edge to the highest point on the end of the tailgate. The second from the top of the straight edge to the top of the ribs at the tailgate end of the truck bed. The difference between these 2 measurements is the amount of incline of your tailgate. Standard XL 100% models include built-in spacers to compensate for the incline in the tailgate. Low-profile XL 100% extension models will need a spacer equal to or greater than the measured tailgate incline. 70% models will need to use the integrated height adjusters or a spacer kit equal to or greater than the measured difference if the end of the tailgate sticks up more than 3/4 of an inch above the top of the truck bed ribs. Another way of preventing your tailgate from interfering with your cargo glide unit is to use an optional drop link kit. They install in minutes. Just unhook the tailgate cable from the truck, attach the cable to the drop link adapter, then attach the drop link to the cable mount point on the bed. Do this on both sides. The tailgate will now rest in this position rather than this. As a point of caution, depending on the type of bumper and model of your truck, using a drop link may cause the tailgate to come down too low and onto your bumper, which may scratch or dent your tailgate. So please, check that you have enough clearance before installing a drop link kit. Step 1. Inspect shipment. When the unit is delivered, check the box for any damage in shipping. If the unit has been damaged, refuse the shipment and contact Cargo Glide immediately. If all is well, remove the shipping straps. Now remove the box top. Cut the tape on the bottom box and cut away packing foam. Remove the wooden shipping frame. Now inspect further for any damage. After this, cut the side flaps of the top box and lay the box top in the bed of the truck to prevent scratches. Step 2. Collect tools. All you'll need is a tape measure, a drill, a 1/2 inch bit, a 5/16 inch bit, a wrench, a 1/2 inch socket, and a ratchet. Or better yet, use an impact driver if you have one. Step 3. Locate install kit. Open the install kit and ensure that all of the hardware is included. You should have 4 tie downs, 6 or 8 installation bolts depending on the length of your cargo glide, and a bag with plus nuts and washers along with the plus nut installation tool. We will explain this plus nut installation tool later. Step 4. Remove deck. Start by pulling the top frame out about halfway, then have the helper move the middle frame to about 9 inches from the front of the unit. Move the deck back just a couple of inches. Now have the helpers flip up the stopper flaps underneath the deck, after which you can pull the top frame and deck off. Step 5. Remove middle frame. To do this, lift up the stopper flaps and slide the middle frame out. Set the frame aside out of your way. Step 6. Position bottom frame. Place the lower frame on the cardboard, then slide it in. Next, remove the cardboard. Now you can position the frame in the bed of the truck. On most applications, it's best to have at least 1.5 inches of clearance between the front of the bed and the frame to avoid interference from crossbeams under the truck. Also, center the unit by measuring the distance from side to side, both in front and back. Finally, ensure that all fastening points are on top of the bed ridges. Otherwise, shims will be needed when fastening the unit to the bed. Before proceeding, we'd like to explain the plus nut system to you. Plus nuts are easy to install. After the proper installation location has been identified and a 1/2 inch hole has been drilled, get the plus nut assembly out of the install kit. The first plus nut assembly is usually already assembled in the install kit. It comprises of the following components: a 5/16 inch by 3 inch bolt, a washer, the plus nut compression tool with the serrations facing the plus nut, then the plus nut itself threaded onto the bolt. Now take this assembly and place it in the 1/2 inch hole. Place a wrench on the plus nut compression tool and with a 1/2 inch socket on an impact driver, tighten the bolt, keeping the top of the plus nut flush with the bed. In this cutaway, as you tighten the bolt, notice how the lower side of the plus nut mushrooms and fastens itself permanently to the bed of the truck. Tighten the bolt until the plus nut is well seated on the bed of the truck, but do not over-tighten. Next, loosen the bolt. Now the bolt, washer, and the plus nut compression tool can be used for the next plus nut installation. If you don't have an impact driver, a ratchet can also be used to tighten the bolt. When installing plus nuts, they must be placed a 1/4 inch from any incline or decline from the flat surface. Further, plus nuts cannot be installed on the incline of the truck bed ribs for 2 reasons. First, the plus nut will not properly cinch itself into the bed. And second, the bolt fastening the cargo glide unit will thread in at an angle, preventing the fastening holes on your cargo glide frame from lining up. Fastening holes on all cargo glide units are placed to ensure that for most trucks, plus nuts can be installed on the tops of bed ribs. It is not recommended to install plus nuts in the valleys. If the plus nuts are installed in the valleys between the truck bed ribs, in that case, spacers or washers must be installed between the plus nut and the cargo glide frame to prevent the frame from bending. Such bending could prevent your cargo glide unit from opening and closing properly. One final note. Just one of the 3 mounting holes is needed per mounting location. Step 7. Drill pilot holes. Place the 5/16 inch bit in the drill. Then, At each fastening point, drill one hole, each one of which drilled on top of the rib. Make sure you don't move the frame when doing this. Also, be sure not to hit anything under the bed when drilling. Step 8. Drill half-inch holes. First, place a half-inch bit in the drill. Move the frame back just a few inches. Then, drill out each one of the pilot holes. Step 9. Install plus nuts. Drop in the pre-assembled plus nut assembly into a hole and then tighten it with the wrench and impact driver. Then, back off the bolt and put the next plus nut assembly together. Take the bolt with the washer, then the plus nut tool with the serrations toward the plus nut, then spin the plus nut on. Place it in the hole and tighten. Then repeat this process for the remaining holes. Step 10. Fasten bottom frame. Scoot the frame forward with holes over the plus nuts. Then, with a washer on each one of the bolts, put them in the hole and start every bolt. After this, you can go through and tighten all of the bolts with the impact driver. Step 11. Install middle frame. All you do is pick it up and slide it in. Just make sure the stopper flaps are in the down position. Step 12. Install deck. Just line up the frame so the bearings of the middle frame slide into the track of the top frame and slide it while holding the latch handle in the open position. Again, make sure the stopper flaps are in the down position. Now test the unit and make sure it stops in each stop position. Step 13. Install high sides. Remove the wrapping from the high sides. Also, remove the bolts. Now, fully extend the unit. Then take the front high side, lay it down horizontally with the lip in the groove of the unit, then flip it up. Repeat this with both sides. Then, take the bolts, insert them, and tighten them with a wrench. Finally, take the tie downs, slide them in, and tighten them where needed. That's it. 13 easy steps to install your Cargo Glide XL unit. If you have any other questions, look us up on the internet at www.cargoglide.com.